The idea of creatures from outer space arriving on Earth may frighten Tony Stark, but it's something many Marvel fans are incredibly excited about. There are so many amazing comic book characters with extraterrestrial origins we can't wait to encounter in the MCU. Fans have been wondering how long we'll have to wait to meet Nova, and based on what we saw during Infinity War, we might not have to wait much longer. Before we get started talking about how Nova might be introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, let's fill our non-comic book reading fan viewers in on just who Nova is. We're going to be talking about the origins of the original Nova character. During Guardians of the Galaxy, our heroes visited the planet Xandar and ran afoul of the Nova Corps. At first glance, the Nova Corps may seem like a run-of-the-mill security force, sort of like the Xandar version of our police officers, but don't be fooled by the fact that the lovable John C. Riley plays a Nova Corps soldier. These guys mean serious business. In the comic books, joining the illustrious Nova Corps means being an elite fighter and having special abilities. These soldiers have access to something called the Nova Force, which is a vast energy source allowing them to use superhuman abilities. These include super strength, stamina, speed, and durability, among other things. The most powerful members of the Nova Corps are the Nova Centurions, and in the comics, we meet one named Rhomann Dey. Unfortunately, things aren't going well for Rhomann Dey, as his homeworld of Xandar gets destroyed by an intergalactic space pirate. While fighting to defend the attack that wiped out his Nova Corps members, Rhomann sustains a mortal wound. He tracks the pirate Zor all the way to Earth, but is too weak to take him out. Using the last of his strength, he transfers his power ring to a very brave human with strong willpower, who then uses it to become the Green Lantern. Wait, we got confused there with another comic book hero who gets his powers from another dying alien that's also a part of a galactic force of aliens who protect the galaxy from evil? We have no idea how we got confused by these two totally non-similar heroes.
I know, right?
Anyway, back on track, Rhomann Dey transfers his power to an unsuspecting human. The one who received his powers was a teenager named Richard Rider, who pretty much achieved the teenage dreams of randomly receiving superpowers. He didn't even have to get bitten by a radioactive spider or anything. But he does have some things in common with Peter Parker. They're both teens living in New York, and they both struggle to balance their more mundane activities with their extracurricular crime-fighting ones. Richard takes on the name Nova in honor of the Nova Corps and ends up spending some time in outer space, fighting Skrulls among other creatures. And what do you know? We've already had the chance to meet Rhomann Dey during Guardians of the Galaxy. He has a history of arresting Star-Lord for a variety of offenses, and we get to see a sweet scene at the end of the movie where he shows affection to his wife and daughter. Well, it was sweet at the time, but now it's one of those scenes Avengers Infinity War made unbelievably sad in retrospect. At the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, we saw our heroes leave the Power Stone in the hands of the Nova Corps for safekeeping. But unfortunately, that wasn't enough to keep Thanos from getting his hands on it. And while doing so, he wiped out every last member of the Nova Corps. Then he grabbed the Power Stone and ultimately wiped out half of the population on Xandar. But we're just going off of Thanos' version of the events at this point, and we didn't see how or if Rhomann Dey specifically died. It's quite possible that following the battle with Thanos, he ended up on Earth somehow, whether he crash-landed there or went there on purpose in order to pursue the Mad Titan. Of course, we know that Thanos and the members of the Black Order did wind up on Earth during Infinity War, so it's not inconceivable that Rhomann followed them there on purpose, which would be along the lines of the events of the comic books. There's a lot of theories about what's going to happen during Avengers Endgame, but the general consensus seems to be that those who passed away as a result of Thanos' finger snap of doom are going to come back somehow. While this is a relief, if Nova Corps was taken out as a result of the decimation, there'd be no time for Rhomann to travel all the way to Earth and transfer his powers to anyone. We saw how fast people disappeared after the decimation. Nick Fury barely had time to send a message to Captain Marvel before he vanished, but the comic book version of Rhomann managed to make it despite sustaining a mortal wound, so we think the manner in which the MCU Rhomann was taken out is relevant here. Although we didn't see it happen during Infinity War, it could be possible that Rhomann transferred his powers to Richard Rider, creating Nova. When Guardians of the Galaxy first came out, director James Gunn was asked about the character of Nova, and he claimed that it wasn't the right time for him to appear in the MCU, but that was years ago, and James Gunn is no longer involved with the franchise following Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It's possible we could see see Nova introduced at some point during Avengers Endgame, but there might be an issue with this. Nova is an important character and one of the more popular ones in the comic books. However, many movie fans have never heard of him, which presents a problem. Marvel Studios was able to skim past the origin story of Spider-Man in Homecoming because it's one that everyone knows. But most people will have no clue who Nova is or how he was created. In order to do the story and character justice, it seems as though Nova should really get his own standalone movie sometime during Phase 4 of the MCU. Since that kicks off with Spider-Man Far From Home, hopefully, we'll see Nova enter the MCU sooner rather than later. What do you think about the idea of adding Nova to the MCU? Do you think the events of Infinity War set up his appearance? How do you think his arrival will play out? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to CBR for more MCU content. Thanks for watching.